Like a stealthy tiger paddling through the jungle, no one saw Netflix's Tiger King coming until it was too late to unsee the questionable conditions that animals were kept in, and the questionable taste and tattoos of nearly everyone involved. Watch this video all the way to the end and see how many of these tattoos you just can't believe. But before we get into it, please show your love for our team working so hard by liking this video, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell for new videos right here. It was the most tweeted about show in the country this week, with celebrities like Chrissy Teigen, Kim Kardashian, and Jared Leto weighing in. If you two can't stop thinking about Joe, Carole, and Doc and company, here's an update on what they're up to now.
Not every day that a zookeeper went to prison for murder for hire.
There are more captive tigers in the U.S. than there are in the wild throughout the world.
John Finley, Joe's ex-husband who was also having relationships with several women at the animal park, ended his marriage with Joe Exotic in 2014. He has since had his teeth fixed as a welder and living with his fiancée Stormy. He started a Facebook page to counter what he didn't like about the Tiger King series. He's particularly steamed that the filmmakers chose not to show him with his new dentures. After Joe had John arrested for assault, thus ending their relationship, he returned sometime later to manage Joe's safari bar down the road from the zoo, and John helped Joe when he was distraught after the accidental shooting death of his other husband.
You love me.
Outspoken, good looking, love to party and have fun.
I don't think we're done blowing shit up today.
I don't think you are.
Carole Baskin, Joe Exotic's chief nemesis, Carole Baskin released a statement after Tiger King premiered, calling it salacious and sensational. The lengthy statement goes on to refute the series' insulation that she may have been involved in the death of her husband Don Lewis, who disappeared without a trace. Her household only had a small meat grinder, she says, while the Netflix doc showed a photo of a much larger one that could have more credibly ground up Lewis. Now 58, she continues to live with her third husband, Howard Baskin, at the Big Cat Rescue Facility near Tampa, Florida, and advocates to stop breeding big cats and keeping them in captivity. Bhagavan Doc Antle. Doc Antle, the owner of the Institute for Greatly Endangered and Rare Species, TIGERS, of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, released a statement saying he was disappointed in the series and accusing producers of paying participants. What you didn't know about Doc Antle: the 60-year-old former animal trainer whose name actually does appear in the Mahanvadi Vagdin Antil. Bhagwan means Lord in Hindi, though he was called Kevin at school, says he trained as a doctor in China. Rick Kirkham.
You know, David, I lived in the zoo for a year, and I can't tell you what a trip it is to look back on that year. Dirty.
The producer who was shooting Joe Exotic's reality TV web series started out as a crime reporter and began smoking crack while appearing on Inside Edition. He now lives in Bodø, Norway, where he feasts on reindeer stew with his new wife and is working on a documentary project about a man with an exciting double life, according to his Facebook post. After all the footage from his Joe Exotic shoots burned in a suspicious fire at the zoo, he moved to Dallas, where his own house coincidentally burned down just 6 months later, according to a New York Magazine article by Robert Moore. Joe Exotic.
My name's Joe Exotic and this is Sarge.
He was like a mythical character living out in the middle of bumfuck Oklahoma who owned 1,200 tigers and lions and bears and shit.
The central character, the Tiger King himself, Joe Maldonado Passage Ni Shrivable, is serving a 22-year sentence in Oklahoma's Grady County Jail after being convicted of 17 counts of animal abuse and 2 counts of murder for hire. But being incarcerated didn't stop the 57-year-old former zoo owner from filing a $94 million lawsuit on March 17th, 3 days before the series dropped, against the federal government and Jeff Lowe, who took over the GW Zoo from Joe. According to Rolling Stone, he alleged that the government contributed to the death of his mother and that Lowe provided false statements to the feds.
Hey, I'm Joe Exotic, otherwise known as the Tiger King, the gay gun-carrying redneck with a mullet. I built this place from the ground up. I started over 15 years ago with a deer and a mountain lion.
Though he appeared in a number of country music videos, he's actually lip-synced to music from the Clinton Johnson Band. According to Moore, Joe uses a crutch as a result of a car accident in 1985 in which he says he was attempting suicide. As for some of the others in the series, Kelsey Safari, who lost part of an arm and returned to work soon after, prefers to be called Saf and uses him and his pronouns. The Hawaii native is reportedly still working at the zoo. Jeff Lowe is still running the Greater Wynwood Zoo and still with his wife Lauren, who has had at least one more daughter since the series filmed. He's planning on opening a new zoo in Oklahoma in hopes of starting fresh.
And I treat every one of them like they're my kids. Between taking care of all these animals and babysitting my employees, things can get a little crazy around here. Nope.
Like you can see, there is so much good stuff on Netflix these days, almost too much, to the point that it is often hard to pick out particularly good stuff to check out. That being said, a lot of you have seemingly already found a great docuseries on there, specifically Tiger King, the story of one extreme eccentric zoo owner, his feud with an animal rights activist, and the whirlwind of events surrounding him. And with all the insanity that a series puts in front of the camera, there is even more craziness that we didn't see, or that was one lightly touched upon by the documentary film crew. And as always, hit that subscribe button and like button and make sure you smash it as many times as you want to, because this is Unusual Facts. And well, like you see in this video, we bring you the top unusual facts from around the world every single week. Until then, we'll see you next time.